Hey everyone, nintendoboy17 here. Time I did a new review. My choice this time is Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance for the Sony PlayStation 2. It's also on Nintendo Gamecube, Microsoft Xbox, and a similar version on Nintendo Game Boy Advance. But this will focus on the PlayStation 2 version, and here's what I think of it. But before I tell you my opinion, I have to let you know that I have not played Mortal Kombat 4 on N64, PlayStation, PC, or even in the arcades. This is my first time playing a 3D Mortal Kombat game, so I may not know if Deadly Alliance is better or worse than Mortal Kombat 4. Now, I'll state my opinion. This Mortal Kombat, I think, makes a shocking and quite interesting plot. It revolves around classic Mortal Kombat villain Shang Tsung teaming up with Quan Chi, who first appeared in the animated series Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, in an attempt to resurrect an army by absorbing the souls of warriors. But before they do so, they take out the hero of the Mortal Kombat franchise, Liu Kang. Raiden tells almost everyone he knows about this news and asks for help to stop Quan Chi and Shang Tsung before it's too late. This one not only involves some of the old characters from the 2D games, but it also has some new characters as well. We got a female vampire named Nitara, who's one of my new favorites, a blind swordsman named Kenshi, who's also one of my favorites, a drunken master named Bo-Rai Cho, which I'm not really a huge fan of, I highly dislike, but I'm not going to state why, and some others I didn't mention. Quite a bit of them are pretty fun to play as due to their great abilities. And like I mentioned some of my favorites and one of my least favorites, but I'm not going to go into detail there, that'll be another time. But anyway, the game features the standard gameplay modes of fighting games, such as arcade mode, versus mode, and practice mode. But Deadly Alliance also features a conquest mode, which has a bit of storytelling for that character you play as for 10 rounds, and during most rounds the game teaches you each fighting move of each character, from basic to advanced. They all end with the battle against a clone of that character, but wearing a different costume. For example, say you're playing as Scorpion in his yellow ninja suit. You'd be fighting him in your last mission as Scorpion without his mask and with a flaming skull. That's pretty friggin' awesome. I think the gameplay is great for this game. You're not only restricted to just one fighting style for each character. This time, each character gets 3. All of which you can switch during gameplay by pressing the L1 button. And most characters, except for 2, have 2 bare fist fighting styles and 1 weapon fighting style. All of which contain their own set of certain moves. But even though each fighting style has their own set of moves, every character has their own set of moves they can use, no matter what fighting style they are using. An example is Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat 2. Yes, he is in this game, he's playable. And he can still throw his hat, even though he's in the Mantis fighting style. You can even switch to the Fatality mode when the time comes and put in the command for that character's Fatality during that mode. And the right time for that Fatality mode is when the announcer says, "Finish him!" or "Finish her!" I'm sorry, that wasn't evil enough, but anyway. And gameplay is added for how many things you can unlock in the so-called crypt, but sometimes you can feel like you're getting gypped in there, depending on what coffin you unlock with your game money. And what makes a complete fighting game without fun multiplayer with their friends, huh? Multiplayer, I think, is a lot of fun. And it always has been for fighting games, for really good ones like this. So, yeah, all I can say. And it's really fun just to make jokes and laugh at the others' fatalities and stuff. But anyway, yeah, multiplayer is a lot of fun. Single-player fights are a lot of fun. And Crypt adds a lot of gameplay, but sometimes you feel like you're getting gypped in there, but anyway. But one thing I must mention is that this Mortal Kombat game has just 1 fatality for each character, which to me feels like a bit of a downgrade, even after I played Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 on the Midway Arcade Treasures 2 for PS2. Not to mention, this game has far too many noticeable walls around the arena, and you can tell that because not only by not getting far in the arena, but the characters somehow reacting to the invisible walls whenever you hit them and they bounce off it. You can notice it, and there's also a glow around it where you can hit that invisible wall. Come on! I remember stage fatalities in Mortal Kombat 2 and 3? You couldn't throw that in this one? Jeez! Personally, I also thought the controls aren't that bad. They feel fine for the most part, but sometimes it feels hard to pull off a huge combo with them. Especially when you have to use style branch attacks, which allow you to switch fighting styles while you're attacking your enemy, which is also confusing. But for the most part, when it comes to most of the moves, like the basic and medium level moves, the controls are fine. I think the graphics look great. They not only stick well to the dark gruesomeness of Mortal Kombat, but they also capture quite a bit of the color past Mortal Kombat games captured as well. I even like the extra graphical detail of the facial damage, such as cuts, bruises, blood stains on the skin, and etc. But I've noticed a graphical flaw, and this comes to whenever fatalities start. Sometimes the arena will have a black square that'll randomly pop up on its floor. It doesn't last long, but it is something noticeable. I really do like the sound in this game. The music has the techno stuff, although which is what is featured in Mortal Kombat films, but although you hear way different songs, you hear different techno in this game than you did in the films. And the fighting sounds real good, like whenever someone's getting punched, kicked, or even hit with weapons, and heck, even with stabbing, it sounds great. You actually felt like you're getting that pain to a certain extent. Like, I actually cringed at some times getting impaled with a friggin' sword. It actually felt like that to an extent. Overall, I really enjoyed Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance a lot. I had a lot of fun playing my first 3D Mortal Kombat game, mainly with the arcade and versus modes. I would give this an 8.5 out of 10. The only big gripe I have with it is just one fatality for each character, which sucks. But there is a graphical flaw during fatalities of that black square randomly going off on the floor of the arena, but it doesn't last long, but it's still a graphical flaw. But the game, I think, is still worth checking out. I liked it a lot, and I think you might like it too, if you're a fan of 3D fighters. Comment, rate, subscribe. Thanks for watching.